Raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. Go ahead with the first question.
Talk about Anthony and how many times you've seen somebody do that.
Well, let me just say this. This is how he is. This is in my mind. I walked in and said, Terrence Jones, now you're getting closer. You had 2 or 3 other balls you could have dunked. You tried to lay it, got blocked, but you're closer. You're being more aggressive. You're talking more. I said, Marcus Teague, unbelievable floor game. The best you played this year. Unbelievable floor game. Nothing was forced. He didn't make any crazy plays. It was unbelievable. And I looked at Michael Gilchrist and said, you got to play smarter and you cannot be fouled. And then I just looked at him and said, you played good again. Anthony Davis. And you can imagine. I mean, he does what he does every game. That's who he is. I mean, he's getting points without, like, being a pig. He doesn't ever have to get the ball.
Anybody else?
John, it's kind of a silly question, but
You would ask me a silly question?
One
Go
more.
ahead.
Compare the influence or impact Anthony has defensively and offensively, both, each side.
Well, I've coached, Marcus Camby. And Bruiser Flint called me the other day and just said, this kid does what Marcus Camby did for us. He clears up all your errors. And he's back there. We played Princeton. And the coach that now is at Fairfield was on that team. They ran their best backdoor stuff. He said it was the best backdoor stuff we've ever run. Camby had 11 blocks in that game when we beat him by 30. Well, they ran their stuff, but he cleans up all the mess. This kid does the same. He also does it in the press attacking. So now all of a sudden you make any kind of mistake, we're throwing it to him and he's dunking the ball. And that's a tough one to deal with. So on both ends he does it. And he's getting better. He's making free throws, he's making jumpers, you're seeing more of his game. But again, I got to tell you, Marcus Teague gets 7 points, 9 assists, three turns. If we are getting closer to getting him right, if we're getting closer to getting Terrence Jones right, all of a sudden this thing takes on a little different look to it.
You mentioned Marcus Camby. I've heard a couple other people say that he's the best shot blocker in the game for college in the past 10 years.
Who was?
Anthony, right now, is maybe the best in 10 years.
How long ago did Marcus play?
That was 96. But can you give us some perspective on that in terms of what you think or how good he is in the past 10 years, if that's accurate?
I don't know. Let the season end and you can look back at numbers and find out. I've just been blessed that I've coached 2 of the great shot blockers who are unbelievably nice people who defer to their teammates, are not selfish, don't have a selfish bone in their body, neither guy. And I was fortunate enough to coach both of them.
Cal, what was the difference in...
Now maybe I can coach Anthony 3 years like I did Marcus. That would be a lot of fun too. I'm going to try to influence him that way.
Cal, what was the difference in Marcus Teague tonight? What was he doing that he hasn't been doing, or what didn't he do that he hasn't been doing?
He's really focused and zoned in on how he's got to start playing. And he's playing as a point guard versus, trying to score baskets. And he's still scoring, he's still making free throws, but the biggest thing is our team is a totally different team when he's playing. I want him to play fast, but in control. In other words, if they're trying to press go, we're not going to hold back. You know how we play. But if it's back there, then we're going to grind it out. We're a good grinded out team. Obviously, I would love to play fast the whole game. But you got to be able to play in that half court, defend in the half court, play offense in the half court, grind out clock, and make people make plays late in the clock. And he's got to run us and be able to do that, and he did it today.
John, can you talk a little bit about what you're talking about? You said you saw more from Terrence and also kind of a little bit on the way Deron played tonight.
Both of them have made strides. They're both, they both got to keep coming. I thought, Darius made some shots. He had some defensive breakdowns, but they, again, we got a bunch of guys taking 8 to 10 shots. That's what we have. I thought Kyle Wilshire played well. Made a couple baskets when we needed them. Again, we're making our free throws, which makes the score a little bit more than it probably would have been. But I'm happy. We're a good defensive team. We gave them, again, think about this, in the last 2 minutes, we gave them 3 baskets, which probably put them from 38% to 40%, which is why it drives me crazy. Why would you let them go 4 for 4 to end the game, which is basically what we did. We out-rebounded a team that's really scrappy, and we didn't shoot a whole lot of threes to do it. Now, they went to the zone. I thought we were good versus zone. I thought we looked good. You know, got the ball, moved the ball. The first time they went zone, Deron nails the 3. And then from there, we went inside out. I mean, we got the ball in the middle, we got the ball in the baseline. So we made strides. We got better today. This is much better. But let me say this. They weren't like a huge team, but they're just as physical, and they play a style that they go after the ball on every play. And we ended up with 12 turnovers, which is pretty good.
Cal, Arkansas obviously played the way they're going to play and try to get the tempo, especially early in the second half. With the way you all got up and down, does that reinforce even more that you're probably going to see the whole grinded-out slugfest type games most of the way?
Yeah. But I'm okay with that. I mean, my teams historically, if you want to play fast, we'll play fast. If you make us play slow, we'll play slower. You know, we get breakouts, we're taking them. If you're back there, we'll do it. If you slow the game down versus zone, our zone offense is quicker than the normal zone offense, so we can score on 3 or 4 passes. But, you know, teams are going to play all kind of ways. You know, but when you have 7 guys that are all skilled with that basketball and can make plays, it's hard. You know, it's hard.
Yeah, Coach Baker, I was wondering if you could talk about what you thought of Arkansas, you know, Mike's first year, and what was the key to only having 12 turnovers?
Well, there's a couple. When you ask me that, I've coached against Mike a bunch, so I kind of have an idea of how they're going to play, and I can explain it to my team because they really play a frenetic style, and they'll come at you different ways. You won't know who's running at you, and they're just coming. The Louisville game prepared us for this game because they play very similar. And I would tell you, you know, I watched the Mississippi State tape, and I was like, whoa, I didn't think we could beat them today after watching. That's what I watched today. I watched the Mississippi tape. They easily could have won that game. And what was the other game I watched in the league that they won? LSU. And LSU couldn't even get into anything. I mean, and LSU's a good club now. So I would tell you that they're going to win at home, and then they're going to steal some games. They're going to play that style that if you're not ready, and if you're not physically and mentally ready to play, you're getting beat.
John, it looked like Darius and Terrence both were trying to be aggressive right from the jump. Is that what you're looking for from them?
They both were, and I was happy about that.
John, why is it important to you in a game that's already decided that the other team made their last 4 shots?
Because you take pride in your defense. I mean, if we have a chance to lead the nation in field goal percentage defense, why wouldn't we? Well, don't worry about it. We'll finish 7th. Well, that's an honor. That's a badge of honor. I mean, to be that good. But what happens is the last 2-3 minutes of the game, those guys got to guard 2. Or they're going to end up playing 30 seconds instead of 2 minutes. So it is important that way. Plus, I want to see Kyle get better. I want to see Twani not break down and make mistakes. I want to see that I can go to those guys. Eloy, go get a block, go get a rebound, come up with something. That's your opportunity to show us what you should be doing. So,
Last question.
Coach, can you talk about your next opponent Saturday in preparation for Alabama?
well, they're going to have tomorrow off. And then we'll practice Thursday, Friday, and it's a Saturday afternoon game. It's going to be a war. Alabama's a Sweet 16 team in my mind, as is Florida, as is Vandy, and as is Mississippi State. They're all Sweet 16 teams. So when we play them, they're wars. And they are physical. Last year they beat us down there, and they beat us in the paint, they beat us in the scoreboard, they beat us physically, they beat us 100 different ways. So they're a really good team. They got terrific players, and it's going to be a hard game for us.
Thank you.
Thanks.